What up? Let's go.
Like my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, beat left.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah! What the fuck are you talking about?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Kickin in Stateside, back again for a wonderful last day of September here, September 30th, Thursday. Always a jam-packed show. We got some good stuff coming for you. We had some Champions League action the past 2 days that we spoke about on Tuesday. Obviously, if you're not living under a rock, you saw Mr. Ronaldo getting a game-winning goal, of course.
I think that gets like normal national media coverage at this point because it's Ronaldo.
Right, and he is what he is.
Yeah.
He doesn't stop scoring. He comes up big when he does, and I'm just tired, we saw some hate, and I get some hate in our soccer group chat about Ronaldo saying, I don't like this whole, everybody wants to, the old, jump on his dick and all this other stuff. But, I mean, I just want some respect put on the guy's name.
There's
you know what I'm saying?
There's only hate because he came to our league and didn't go to certain people's teams.
Right.
So, therefore, there's automatically hating going on. That wasn't there, mind you, if you go back to when we have those conversations between Messi and Ronaldo. That same hatred wasn't there when he was still at Juventus, but as soon as he threw that United kit back on, the hatred seemed to start to boil up. So I understand it where I understand it. I kind of get, it does get a little bit overwhelming sometimes on the American broadcasts of how much, but I mean, the guy's the greatest. I respect greatness and whatever. He did it again. He did it again in the 95th minute. He finds a way, score a goal, get his team a win. Mind you, whatever the opponent you want to say or about the opponent, that's not an easy opponent that they just went out there and beat. Have they been struggling? Absolutely. Is it Cristiano Ronaldo's fault? Absolutely not. So he's doing his thing when he's.
I just don't know. I don't know what else the guy has to do to prove himself to some of the haters out there. It's tie 1-1. You're looking for that goal. That's why they brought him in, and that's why he wanted to take the challenge of going to and back home to Manchester United and proving that he still got it, and he's going to take this team. He could take this team as far as he wants,
Yeah.
He can do so much, though, as well. He's not playing defense. I know Harry Maguire got hurt this weekend, so he's going to be out for some time. So, again, the guy can't be all over the field. He does what he does. He scores goals. He gets a big 3 points for them moving forward to Champions League after that, opening loss and upset to Young Boys, where, again, not his fault that Aaron Wan-Bissaka gets sent off.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
And he did his part in that game too, so
it's tough to sit here. And again, I'm not the biggest Ronaldo person, but the Ronaldo hate, I'm trying hard to understand why it's happening. Yes, I get it. He didn't go to your team if your Premier League team is not united and you're a little hurt and you're a little scared. I understand. Yeah. It's okay to be scared. That's why you come here to us. We'll pet your head gently. We'll calm you down. I know some of those Red fans are a little nervous. You got CR7 in the league. It's not a good thing. But to have the hate the guy has just is, I don't know why. I had to start the show that way. I know the main topic is more how the other GOAT, Mr. Messi, leaves a certain Barcelona team, and now you're seeing Barcelona struggle a little bit here.
Yeah.
And I've said this before. I said it to you guys in the group chat. When they hired Ronald Koeman, I thought it was a terrible hire, just from previous track records of him not being a good coach. And you're seeing it now. And I'm not sure if they actually officially pulled the trigger and fired him yet, but I saw that he was pretty much on his way out.
They're in big trouble, man. They are in major trouble. They're looking for coaches. There's been talk. Pirlo's the one on the radar now.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. We've talked about it with Lord Walker, and I know when he gets on later, he'll want to talk about it again, and we can bring it back up again because I wanted to make it the main topic because we do so many different shows about so many different things, and sometimes this league and these teams go a little bit overlooked, but they're so big to our sport that I guess it's important that we talk about them. But they're in major trouble. They were just retracted $300 million of spending that they're going to be able to be available to spend going forward. So with the addition of poor coaching, with the addition of losing a guy like Messi, who's been a mainstay there for a decade and a half, and now having this financial situation, it's a big problem. And they're sitting, we talk about it, same thing with the Prem like the other day. We don't want to panic on table watching right now early. But at least with Madrid's in first place at the table early to start, even though they continue to seem to have Champions League struggles. But Barcelona is, I think, 6th in the table. Their next games coming up are against Atletico, Valencia, which are no pushovers. Those are tough games.
Right.
Then they have a Champions League game with Dynamo, Kiev, which, again, Barcelona's winless in their first 2 here. So that's a must-win at home against Dynamo Kiev. And then they go back to league play where they have Madrid again and Rayo Valencia, who's off to a hot start. And then they finally get a break on Halloween with Alaves. So they got a tough road ahead, and they're struggling. This is a formula for absolute disaster right now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if I'm a Barca supporter, I got to be really concerned, and they got to figure something out quick, or they can find themselves in major trouble.
Well, yeah, I mean, you see with, Messi leaving, Griezmann leaving, that they're kind of passing the torch to, the younger kids, like the Pedris of the world, and the Ansu Fatis, hoping they can take it and run with it. And it seems like that hasn't really panned out for them so far. And, I mean, again, I would have a little concern. It's not just like a one-off thing. And same thing with Madrid. They've been struggling for a little bit now too.
Yeah.
The fact that you lose at home as well to this team, this little team from Moldova.
Yeah,
you got to give credit where credit's due. I mean,
that is a major story.
A great game, but still, I mean, to lose at the Bernabeu, that's just, I don't know. There's definite question marks for both teams as the giants, of world soccer. It's just
the only outlet I can see for Madrid, which again, that's why I wasn't as hard on them, is because they are currently still leading La Liga, even though it's early in the season. And their financial issues, although maybe aren't tremendous, aren't going to be nearly as bad as what Barca's involved in. And I feel like Madrid's probably a major player for guys like Mbappe and Erling Haaland going forward. And I feel like there's definitely some direction there where I feel like Barca could be in a major, just a bigger tailspin. Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at this. I was actually amazed because doing our homework, that this Benfica team is interesting. If you look at their back line, you have 2 old Prem guys in Vertonghen and Otamendi, holding down two of their three spots there with João Mario in the middle. That's a quite the interesting little squad, but that's not a team that, a Barcelona team should be worried about and losing 3-0 to in Champions.
Getting your ass kicked.
And it's been constant. It's been in league play. It's been in Champions League. I think they're negative -6 so far in Champions League, and 2 losses, no points in 2 group stage games. So there's a lot to be desired with this team, and their league schedule coming up is super difficult. So we shall see.
Yeah,
like we say, October is a big judge, right?
Right. That's kind of like where it's like you're sitting there, after October. I think you could see, where things are going to shake up. And again, teams have gone on crazy good runs towards the end of the season after Christmas. And I think like Boxing Day, that might be a good gauge as well. But, we also saw Arsenal beat the hell out of Chelsea, on Boxing Day a few years ago. And the two teams completely had, different second halves of the season. So, again, in this sport, anything could happen. So, but if they don't get rid of Ronald Koeman, I don't see anything changing for them. He's not a good motivator, one. It seems like whatever team he coaches, does anybody listen to him at all? I don't think so.
So did you post Eddie's comments that Barcelona already wanted to find Xavi, Pirlo, and Roberto Martinez? Those are the hot names at the moment, I guess. I'm honestly.
What would Robbie Martinez really want to do? Wouldn't you think he wants to go one more round with this, golden generation of Belgium before he finds maybe a club to coach again?
So do you where do you think the final trigger's pulled? They're on the road to Atletico. The way they're playing, that's almost, you would expect them to lose that game. Atletico's a good team. Then they're home against Valencia, which not an easy game, but a traditional Barcelona team you would favor at home against Valencia.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have the home game in Champions League against Dynamo. If there's 2 L's out of 3 in there, is that it?
Yeah.
Right. It's got to be soon if the losing continues.
You would have to think that if there's a game that they should be winning and they lose that game, I think that would be, the point where it's all right, here we go. Unacceptable. We've given you a long enough leash. Time's up, man. You got to go.
Anything but a win against Dynamo might just seal it. You can't draw that game, especially with the way you played the first 2.
For sure. Yeah.
All right.
That was a tough one for we'll mention that a little later. That was tough. Again, Red Bull, they're sort of on the protesting management. I don't know if you saw that on Twitter. The Viking Army put out a little statement saying, they're kind of fed up with the front office at the New York Red Bull, saying, they're getting rid of all these good players, but why aren't you spending the money to get some good players back in return? And it's just not good enough out on the pitch. And I feel them, for not the Red Bull at all. And, I wouldn't say hate, but a pretty good, dislike for them. I kind of feel for them, It's not the Red Bull of old age. And, we could talk about that ad nauseum, but, if we were really harping on it and making this about MLS, but that's kind of my feeling. As a Union fan, you're happy with a point on the road because, our history at Red Bull Arena has been shitty. So to get out of there with a draw, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, generally, and the announcers even said it on the Red Bull telecast that that's a game against the Union that 90% of the time you're thrilled with getting, just getting a draw at home even, especially of recent history. But it's just at a junction in the season where we can't afford to be getting just 1 point. We need to. We're running out of time, Red Bull, on the end of the playoff line
for points, and we're like, a point would be fine.
Yeah, the Union is trying to keep, position in the playoffs and not drop too far. A win would have kept them. Actually, I think a win would have had them up in third, but they're now sitting in fifth. But still, I mean, they're a playoff team. They're in where Red Bull's fighting for their lives at this point, and need to win some games big time. So they'll have the opportunity.
Oh yeah,
and the lack of fans in the stands is unfortunate with the protests, and there's some other stuff going on obviously as well with certain restrictions and things like that. So that's keeping. But the positive is for them to be down towards the bottom like they are, but be back in the green and goal differential, and to see there is some growth. I like Gerard Struber as a coach. I think for what he's been given, he's done a very good job with it. And he even said last night, his interviews were great. He said there needs to be more urgency, and he can't do that. He can put him in position, he can do everything he wants, but like he needs it out of his players to play with more against their backs up against the wall. Like every game now, the rest of the season's a playoff game. And they have to play it that way in order just to get into the playoffs. So we'll see.
Absolutely.
We get Cincinnati next.
Yeah, that's got to be a win. Yeah, I mean, Conte could. I just saw something on that ESPN FC put out. Inter Milan, they had a net loss recently of $285 million.
Yeah,
they're in a big sell-off. Does Conte want to stick around for all that? Lautaro Martinez is probably next to go. I'm not sure if he'll go in January. That would be pretty shocking. But I would say this summer, I think Inter finishes off what their fire sale to try and recoup some of that $285 million. And, I don't know. And to Anthony, I'm sorry, man. Do I think Atleti's ready to make that? No, probably not.
Yeah, I mean, Atleti won the league last year, though, so, I mean, you could kind of say they've already taken over. They've been the better of the three sides as far as Champions League is gone. I mean, it's still not like – it's a lot to take over. You're not just going to take over Barcelona. You're not going to take over Real Madrid. But you could take over the league as far as just winning and taking trophies. You're not going to steal fan bases generally. You might steal Barca fan base soon if they don't get their shit together. You won't steal Real fans.
Well, I think if João Felix ever pans out to be what he's supposed to be, maybe, you could get some American fans jumping on that train. But again, João Felix is ignorant, like an arrogant prick on the field and off, and Ronaldo's just does his thing. There's a difference there. You can act cocky, but at least you got to go out there and prove it.
Yeah. Yeah, he hasn't quite lived up to the hype, I would say, at all.
But we'll see. Again, time will tell for Barcelona. It's going to take a lot for just all of a sudden, somebody steps in there and, Barcelona and Real Madrid become, mid-table teams. I don't see that happening, but there's just a lot of pressure there. It's just both clubs have just got a shit ton of history, and, you expect these two teams to compete year in and year out and spend the money. But, I mean, Barcelona's got to do a little bit of different, go a different way. They're relying on a lot of these young kids, and there's no Messi that's walking through those doors at Camp Nou.
Yeah. It's it wasn't just Messi either, too. It was like losing Sergio Ramos, losing some other key pieces. They're just And with this money thing, I don't know, man. You say you wouldn't see him be mid-table, but if they don't get rid of this coach or light a fire some way, they're going to be looking that way by the time November rolls around.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like I said, I still think Madrid's safer. Madrid just needs to learn how to show up in both leagues because their Champions League performances over the last couple of years have left a lot to be desired, especially in games against small clubs. You know, it's like they feel like they can take off and beat these teams, and they continuously get upset, and yet they still seem to have that same mentality every time they play one of these clubs. And it's like, you shouldn't be shocked now when they lose to a Sheriff or whatever. Just as long, but they at least seem to know how to turn the gas on and qualify into the next round as they did last year. And they seem to be putting it together early on in league play. So
yeah, this Champions League, we're already at that was only match day 2, and it's already been pretty crazy with some upsets. And we saw the young boys beating Man United that first match week. You got the Sheriff team, who I'm pretty sure, Dan, if you want to correct me, I believe it's Moldova, the Moldovan first division.
Yeah, like Romanian, Moldovan.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And it's one of those that, like,
I was digging into them.
Soccer isn't like their first career.
Yeah.
Like, they're like plumbers and like car salesmen, just like happen to, play for these clubs because, they're not getting paid, they don't have the funds that some of these top leagues have. Like, I've never heard of them at all.
Yeah, prior to this Champions League season.
I mean, honestly, that game-winning goal, that strike, that kid probably will never hit a ball that well ever again, though. Like, he hit that perfectly.
Yeah. Sometimes that's all it takes, though, like
that in the seats.
Yeah.
And just that one time, he just connected perfect. Top bins.
That's why you just keep shooting. Just keep on shooting.
Oh, what's up, Danny? Wow, this is the one thing that I've agreed with you a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the big guns leaving. You're starting to see that.
Yeah, so in case anybody missed it, after we went off the air Tuesday, Atletico Madrid beat AC Milan 2-1. Dortmund got a nice win over Sporting 1-0. So
yeah, Daniel Malin, the young man, getting the goal.
Yeah, nice goal by Daniel Malin. Lord Walker and Eric's Liverpool just dominated Porto, which I was a little surprised. I thought Porto would a little better showing at home. Impressive win by Liverpool. PSG gets a nice 2-0 win at home over City. Messi gets his first goal finally for PSG, which is kind of fitting. It comes against City, which was one of the heavily rumored teams of him possibly going to during that fiasco. Club Brugge beats Leipzig 2-1, which kind of hurts. Our boy Jesse, we got to keep a close eye on him. And
I said
I know they're in a rebuild, and that's not
the same Leipzig team of the last couple of years.
Well, that's perfect. Maybe they'll make a consensus agreement that he'll leave and go coach the U.S. men's national team. It's not working out the way they wanted at Leipzig. Let's time for another move. Yeah,
I know they're going to strike while like these players are worth what they're worth, but
yeah. And then the monstrous one at home, Real Madrid loses to Sheriff Tiraspol. Again, we're confirming 100%, but the Moldovan, Romanian Sheriff Tiraspol just coming up big and they came up big in their first game, so they're sitting pretty good in their group through 2 games. Absolutely. Now they could go the rest of the group and not get a single point, but that's how this game goes. But off to a great start.
Hell yeah.
And then Wednesday at Atlanta beat Young Boys 1-0. Zenit with a dominant win over Malmo, 4-0. Best team in the world over Dynamo Kiev, 5-0. 5-0.
Muscle.
Just flexing their muscle early in the group. That's who Barcelona lost to early in the group was Bayern in their first game. Benfica 3-0 over Barca. FC Salzburg
with a big one too.
With a big one, 2-1 over Lille. So Aronson did not score, but good to see his squad. And then Juventus with a 1-0 home win against your boys. Unfortunate for Chelsea, but it's when you break down the table and you go on the road to Juventus, it's not shameful losing 1-0 on the road. It's not like
they somehow, I don't know what the manager said to them in the beginning, but their form in Serie A is not what they showed yesterday.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. I mean, again, the golden boy, that's the hot topic right now. Chiesa scores again, of course. And
stock just keeps going way up. He just added another $5 million to that deal.
So, yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? It's the Tuchel thing, they're not going to score a lot of goals, and I understand that. And when Lukaku's not scoring, you need help from, you got to get Mason Mount going.
Yeah.
The Pulisic thing, he's still injured. It's like you got to find someone else to put the ball in the net.
Yeah.
And they're just having a hard time doing that. And, it's the Chelsea way right now. You lose 1-0, you win 1-0.
It's true, but
they'll
be okay.
They'll be okay. Coming up next, and I'd assume they would be a pretty decent scoreline. So
I think so. I think they'll handle their business against Malmo after seeing what. I'd assume they would be. That double echo. After what Zenit just did to Malmo, I would assume Chelsea would handle that.
Mr. What's up, brother?
And then we talked about in the beginning of the show, United, Cristiano Ronaldo, 95th minute game-winning goal, true GOAT form, doing true GOAT things. So United squeaks one away against the Martin Short vampire, Unai Emery.
You just won Daddy $200. Thank you, Ronaldo.
And then last but not least, a good old draw in front of 11,000 people in Germany, Wolfsburg, against Sevilla.
Get your attendance up, man.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of Germany seems to be struggling right now with getting people going here. So, so that rounded out the 2 days of Champions League play. A lot of kind of expected scores. Definitely some major surprises. So it's been a good start.
Yeah, it's again, we've had some upsets, but we've seen teams that have been dominant in the past. Obviously, Bayern just doing what they do. Juve's been showing what they can do recently. But, I mean, a lot of groups are still up for grabs. I mean, you got Salzburg sitting on top of Group G with 4 points, and then Sevilla and Wolfsburg are still in it with 2 each. Atalanta, Young Boys, and United are still going to fight for 1 and 2 in that group. And, I mean, you got Ajax and Dortmund pretty much looking like they're both going through already, sitting at the top with 6-6. That'll be a fun matchup next match day, Ajax and Dortmund, to see who takes that group by the scruff of the neck, I guess, as they would say. And the shock of Tiraspol sitting on top of that Group D with 6 points over Madrid and Inter. So,
yeah, right now they're leading the way. So,
oh man, you're really putting us on the spot there, Ev. It's early to tell for both, but I don't know. How could you not feel that Bayern is going to get to the finals?
Yeah.
Barring any crazy, setbacks defensively for them.
Byron would have to be
a still going out there. I don't know how you're not gonna win games.
Yeah, Byron would have to. I mean, not even being a homer on that one, but they would definitely be one of my favorites to go on to win Champions League. And as far as Premier League goes, I don't know. Like
this, he's gonna like this answer.
I'm still torn, and we never have sat back, and we were supposed to after the transfer window and kind of redo at least our top 6 and our bottom 3. The way I still sit now, I'm not ruling United out of finding a way to win the league without a doubt. Chelsea's still got to be a heavy favorite. I believe I had City winning from the jump, and there's no reason to say that they can't through 6 games either. And Liverpool. So I'm torn to make a pick still. I'll stick with my original pick at the moment, even though it was predicated figuring City was getting Harry Kane at the time when it was made. But I'll still stick with my first pick of City. Why not? There's worse teams to go with for.
I was going to say, yeah. Could be swinging and missing. Could have leads in the top 6. I don't know. Who would say that?
I don't know, but my 6th place team is climbing on their way back up. So
it's a beautiful thing.
And for now, I'm still concerned with the game this weekend. We'll talk about that in a little bit when we get to the Prem as well. What do you want to do? You want to do Prem first and then the U.S. men's national team roster? Or you want to do the roster, then the Prem? Because I figure those two combined are easily going to take up this last half hour, and with Lord Walker coming on. So,
yeah, I mean, we could stretch it over the hour. I mean, again, for doing it at 1 o'clock, it's a lot easier to go over that.
That's true.
Hour where I don't feel like I'm like rushing around before I have to start actual working. But yeah, we can do our sponsors and then some of our sponsors and bring on Lord Walker, and then we'll see where his head's at.
Yeah, I clearly want him on for
US team because I have some thoughts on both.
Yeah, and I'm sure he'll still have some thoughts on the previous topics of Champions League still too. So we'll let him get that out as well. So
hey man,
you can hop on. Yep.
Anytime
from the living room or the shower, your choice. Doesn't matter. We've done shows from everywhere.
Just make sure you're covered up.
We've been in beach house rooftops, and Adam did.
In the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, so we make it happen. So without further ado, Kicking at Stateside is brought to you by Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, the best in the business, #1 in South Jersey. Travel over from PA. If you're in the PA area, it's easy travel over. Even if you're in, what we call Central or more North Jersey, it's not a bad travel. Burlington, Cherry Hill are the 2 offices. You can go on specializedphysicaltherapy.com and find out all about them. There's a lot of stuff coming up. Again, with sports, there's always stuff going on with them and the kids. They got a lot of good programs for that. And then your standard physical therapy, recovery from surgery, things along those lines. So definitely check them out.
#1 in our hearts.
Yes, sir. And then, our big name sponsor, the boys at Manscaped, the ladies at Manscaped, whatever, the ones that I'm sure there's a lot of women that were involved in the creation of this too, because ultimately it's for them. Give your balls a treat. give the special person in your life a treat and get your lawnmower 4.0. I don't know what else we have to say. It's very simple.
20% off. Use the promo code A2D at checkout. It's a hell of a deal.
20% off and free shipping. And that's on everything. You don't just have to buy the big stuff. They have the topicals and all those other things that you need to continue to use to keep yourself so fresh and so clean. So see your boys at Manscaped.
Everybody's going to like it.
Everybody's going to like it. And then, of course, we have the good old A2D memberships. We've been talking about this. And if you're not paying attention to the Money Pot podcast and you're a gambler, you are costing yourself money and Willie Vegas as well, because these guys are off to a great start to the year. And there's money to be had. So that's just one of many things that you get with the A2D membership. The shout outs, the member only streams. I saw the Fan Friday was the other night. That was going up again. So that would give you access on the Fan Fridays, or other show appearances. You see Lord Walker coming on our show all the time. Not that he did not do that before, but that's just, a nicer perk.
It is a perk.
Absolutely. So to make it a continuous thing as opposed to an occasional appearance. So hop on the A2D memberships.
Next time, Evan. Next time. Yeah, live action of you using Manscaped, but we got to make it PC too.
Why? Why do we have to?
I don't know.
I want to live in a world where a man can shave his balls.
Can it expose himself like that?
On the internet while advertising a product that's meant to shave
I don't want to get
balls.
Tommy in trouble for
No, I don't. We can't do it because in Europe, they would actually show you the guy's balls getting shaved so you knew it actually worked and you weren't going to get some nicks on your sack. That's all I'm saying.
I feel you.
Because it's not a big deal over there.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Before we get Lord Walker on, Anthony, I'm sorry. You always have these great questions that I need pondering on. Do you think it helps? We did talk about this before, that Beckham is at Inter Miami, just recruiting wise. I would say answer yes. Obviously, with him being there, he's going to get the big time guys to come in. He's already done it, with the Matuidis, Higuains. He got Ryan Shawcross to come.
Yeah.
Neville's the coach. He's got him already, but if you want, he's going to continue. And it doesn't hurt that you have the selling point of living on South Beach, Miami. That's not so bad. So.
Yeah, and they're slowly.
Does not hurt that Beckham is owner of that club.
They're minus 16 in goal differential, but they're still climbing up the table. They're actually 1 point ahead of Red Bull right now. With 20, both of them only have played 26 games compared to most everybody else with 27 or 28. So, it wasn't working, but they're making a late push too for a possible playoff run. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, they're getting there.
Yep. One team that has struggled majorly is the Fire. There's a lot of issues going on in the Fire, and they did fire their coach today. Yeah, they did fire their coach today. So just the MLS is getting to that point in the season, guys, where it's winding down. So if you're looking for some games to watch, especially on some weekday nights, you want some good sports to watch with baseball being done in this city. I know hockey's revving back up, and our boys over at Hockey Happy Hour have been doing a great job bringing you all that, and they're back in preseason. But there's a lot of good MLS games popping up during the week, and definitely worth checking out. You can see some fun games. And
was there 6-8 games left, maybe?
Yeah, if that. I'm gonna pull up
maybe 6.
See if I can pull up Red Bull's schedule.
I know they go through October and maybe that first weekend.
November 7th is Red Bull's last game. So they have 8 games left.
Right.
But they're also a game or two less than every other team. So most teams have 6 to 8 games left.
Yeah. About the last month here of the MLS season.
Yeah.
Time to make that final push or who's going to fall off.
It's solely in their own hands looking at their schedule here. So we'll see what happens. It would be a first time in a long time if the Red Bull don't make a MLS playoff. So hopefully they can make a strong push here with a big win Saturday over Cincinnati and get back rolling here, who, as predicted on this show, lost 3-2 to Toronto. They were up 1-0 at halftime. I'm like, damn, they're going to hold on and I'm going to look like an asshole. And then sure enough, they're Cincinnati. And Toronto comes out and bangs 3 and holds on to a 3-2 victory.
Sure.
So, yeah, and they sit at the very bottom of all of MLS again.
Good luck to you. Yeah, Anthony, I think the difference between Miami and like an LAFC is that the guys at LAFC are more funding for the money. So you have Will Ferrell, you have Nomar, Mia Hamm, you can name the celebrity list that owns part of that team. Magic Johnson, for example. That's a money pit. I think this is more, okay, David Beckham, obviously money, but that's like a recruiting tool to be like, do I want to play for David Beckham at Inter Miami? You wouldn't say that, hey, I'm going to go to LAFC because I want to play for Will Ferrell. Probably not.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the only difference, I think. And Miami and LA, it's close and, which is better, but.
Yeah, I still feel like the Galaxy has even more of that allure just off their history. Right. The LAFC and the stars that have gone through the Galaxy pipeline. But yeah, Miami's like, it's got to be the top destination, especially if money's one of the higher offers and you get the benefit of Miami late in your career.
It's not a bad retirement.
Yeah. But we'll see if it ever pays dividends on the field, because it'll get old quick too, and it's hard to draw people to sports in Miami especially if you're not winning.
Yeah.
So
you're not going to, Miami to watch a soccer game usually.
Yes, but just to give them a little bit of recognition, as much as it pains me sometimes. A lot of people in Columbus do go to soccer games, and there was a lot of people at that game last night, and I have to congratulate them because they brought it's a cup back to the United States in the Campeones Cup. It's a younger trophy, but it does put the champion of Liga MX last year and last year's champion of MLS up against each other, and it's always nice when our league gets a W.
It's like it's like a super cup almost.
Yeah. It's one of those games where it does kind of suck because of its lateness, and like Columbus is struggling, and are one of those teams that are fighting for a final playoff spot in the East and not having the greatest year. But they found a way in one game last night. And Cruz Azul is in you saw their fans last night. They were not happy anytime these Mexican League teams lose, and especially with the recent history of U.S. and Mexico in soccer. They were less than thrilled about losing that game last night to an American club. So that's always good to see.
Yeah, I mean, they're so used to dominating Liga MX clubs over MLS clubs. So when it actually happens, it's like,
yeah, we need that Champions League win, and we'll be good to go. So
yeah. All right. So without further ado, he's been sitting backstage long enough. I feel bad. The man, the myth, the legend, Lord Walker, will be joining us. What's up, bro?
What's up? How you doing,
Hello,
fellas?
hello. Good. How are you?
Good. Making out. It's another sunny day. That's how it is.
Nice, nice. Yes,
Yeah,
woke up today. That's a plus.
Yeah, I know. Because I got to work later on tonight. But I mean,
The sun shines a little sunnier after convincing victories as well.
oh, absolutely. The sun always shines on Liverpool. So
Does the sun ever shine in the UK? I mean,
I don't know.
Can we be honest?
It speaks out. It peaks rays out onto Liverpool, at least. I know that much. But yeah, I wanted to definitely jump in and appreciate the opportunity to do so because there's a lot of stuff that went down this weekend, or this week, I should say, excuse me, and the weekend too. There's just so much stuff going on now. We're so jam-packed with fixtures, and especially when you have, the Prem, you have international play coming up, and then you also have Champions League, you have Europa, as in these things are going to really, really put you on. Hey, you can watch soccer pretty much every day of the week, and it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, we didn't even get a chance to discuss Europa. We just went clear over that as well. But yeah, it's awesome.
It is.
It's
so packed.
And it's tough to, like we said Tuesday, it's so hard to pick and choose what you want to talk about because, again, there was, League Cup recently, Carabao Cup. You got Champions League. You got league play still going. And then now just to throw in, you got World Cup qualifying again next week. So that's something else to talk about.
I mean, that's huge. I mean, Man U getting knocked out of the Carabao Cup, despite, you can say what you want. I know the FA Cup and the Carabao, as in those, they don't have the real precedence to global fans. But for fans and supporters in England, it is still a big deal. And
especially FA.
Yeah. So all those things, aside, you have to really consider it. There's a lot going on, and that was a huge loss. We were all talking. I mean, we were about to be talking about possibly 4 losses on the bounce, basically. I believe for Man U, if they had dropped their Champions League match. We're talking about for the first time we have a little blip in your Chelsea boys. This is the first real blip for Tuchel coming in his tenure, and then we have also. Even Man City, we have we're in the beginning of the year, we're talking about Spurs somewhat, and how they looked like they were really going to make a push this year. And now all of a sudden they look like Arsenal, basically, no offense, but they look like Arsenal in the beginning of the year, so there's a lot going on. And before I even get on to my Liverpool, I definitely wanted to take a little note on your Arsenal Gunners. I don't know what it is, man, but all of a sudden everyone's talking as if the last year and part of this year never happened just because you beat the Spurs.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Well, you know the same way, and we bring it up just because of our our ties and with A2D and all that, but the Eagles, Cowboys, and all these, all these rivalries. When you beat your rival, it doesn't matter what anybody says. It doesn't matter what happened for the last 6 months. It doesn't matter anything. You're at the top of the world for at least 72 hours.
Right.
And then you got this weekend, like I was saying earlier, to possibly come back down to reality, going on the road to a Brighton team that's played really well. So. They're now for Arsenal, to me, it's a weekly test. It's a weekly test. I'm a man of my word, so I said when they reached 10th that the jersey would come off, and it did. I wore it on the show Tuesday. They, and it's back up in its rightful spot, turned around. Okay. And I'm not gonna if they just lose this week and fall out of 10th, it's not gonna get But if they go on another 3-4 game skid, then we'll make other arrangements. But I don't. If the health stays,
okay.
If the health stays,
sure.
I don't see another big skid. I don't see them. Okay. I don't see them, making a run at the top 4. But I picked him at 6 at the beginning of the season.
Say it with your chest, though. Say it with your chest. Top 4.
I picked him at 6 at the beginning of the season.
Right.
I don't waver from my my initial picks too much. Again, at some point we may sit down like we said we would and redo our table picks later on in the year, based off of our initial and pre transfer window being closed.
Right.
But the same way I picked City to win the league, I'll still keep my City pick as of now. And I think it's a good pick, and Arsenal's a lot closer to 6 than Leeds is at this point.
I know
so
you're going to bring that up.
So that's I'll take it for what it is. I think they have a right back that actually has some heart and wants to play and knows how to play in position now. We finally have a center back pairing that looks like they have some chemistry. If you look in Gabriel Malagas' last 8 games, again, when he's healthy, in his last 8 games, Arsenal, I think, has won 6 of those games and has allowed 2 goals and drew the other 2. So I'm pretty sure they haven't lost in his last 8 games when he's fit and available. Kieran Tierney, again, when fit, is great. Thomas Partey, when fit, is great.
Wow, great.
He's great.
Okay.
Tom, hold on. When he was at Atletico, he was one of the best 6s in the world at that time.
Okay.
He's great at his position. He's finally healthy. He's such a good footballer. When he plays for Ghana, he moves and plays center back. So he plays defense. He's a defender by trait. His passing is incredible.
So when top 5?
When healthy,
is he top 5 in the Prem right now?
No, I don't. Not now because he's played 2 games.
I'm just saying.
Let's see. I'm just saying it's. I'm a wait and see. I'm week to week. Okay. When healthy, he's trending in the right direction. Martin Odegaard has come in and changed this team. Martin Odegaard has undoubtedly come in and changed this team. Okay. The positioning of putting the guys in the right position finally has changed this team.
Right.
So. Again, I don't know if it's going to happen week after week. I'm interested to see what lineup I'm going to see at Brighton. I would like to see the exact same lineup I saw last week, but I understand it's the Premier League, and I understand things change, and I might not see that. But we're trending in at least the green right now to go from 20th to 10th in a short-lived span, even though it's easier to do when it's not as late in the season. They're still in a positive position.
Okay, so what is your goal for your team? Because I know that
I already told you
6
was at the beginning of the season. 6. Looking at everything as a whole. I want to win. Everybody wants to win, but I'm realistic. Sure. I'm not a Liverpool fan. I'm realistic. I'm biased. I'm biased. I understand that there's other top clubs in the world. I understand that there's other top players in the world, and I understand that there's more beyond what's just going on inside my own club.
I'm going to say to all my fellow Reds fans, you just heard that. He called us all unrealistic.
Only because
I'm just trying
to there, a little bubble talk in your bubble talk.
Look. Let me
come to your CR stand to go back to that. It's like we all know Mo Salah's a great striker, but he ain't no Ronaldo.
Yeah, and when Ronaldo was at Juventus, you had no problem acknowledging Ronaldo's greatness.
I'm sorry.
Absolutely, we're talking longevity. Ronaldo has had an amazing career. However, in the past, let's say 4 years, okay, whereas we've seen Salah play in the Premier League. Do you realize the numbers he's put up? You cannot contest it. He's not a world-class talent. You cannot contest the fact that he's put up numbers better. Hold on. He's put up numbers better than Messi and Ronaldo in certain categories, okay? So you say those things, it's like, oh, well, you know what, he needs to get brushed off. Is exactly something of like a punch in the gut to a lot of us Liverpool fans.
Yeah, nobody's brushed him off. And what I'll say is
they have. No one says that he's like, when you say Messi and Ronaldo, you don't say Salah. You're not saying those things. But in reality, if you look at the numbers and you look at his performances and look at the fact of like, there's this, the fact of his scoring is so amazing when you look at his talent and how he has taken on to not only the system, but he has come and just emerged as a true player. And that is something that you have to note. You can't overlook that. But I mean, like, we can look past the fact that I just wanted to say, only reason I was asking about your Gunner fans is because I've heard, and this is on Twitter, this is on other YouTube channels, this is on, like, you know, just in passing, even with my own Gunner friends, all of a sudden you've won one game and it's like, hey, you know what, I can see top 4. I've heard top 4 as being as being a realistic thing, and I'm like, wait, is this the same coach that everybody wanted out last year? Everyone still is on the fence of wanting out this year. I get it. I love the fact that you beat a rival, and that's what you should be.
It's 3 in a row, though, too. That's the thing. It's not just the rival. It's 3 in a row, topped by a win against your rival. Right. It doesn't matter the competition, right? You beat who you have to play. You beat who's in front of you. Yeah, you beat who's in front of you. It was horrible. They barely beat Norwich 1-0. They barely beat Burnley 1-0.
Right.
And then like, you're talking and then they looked like a real soccer team for 85 out of 90 minutes against the Spurs, and it was amazing to see, and it gives you an idea of what the potential could be if everything is you got to build it. I get what did Klopp do when he first got to Liverpool? He broke it down and he built it, and people gave him time, and people were patient, and people, and they made the right moves. And going back to Salah, the reason why he doesn't get the hype as those other two is because you have to look at the careers and you have to look at the trending. Those two have had the hype since they were 14, 15, 16 years old, to where he had the hype. He failed. He did. Be honest. He failed at Chelsea. He got a read. He got an opportunity and got
players have come. Wait, hold on.
Again, but no.
You know how many players have?
It's not. I'm not saying it was his fault. It's not saying his. But guys failed based off of the system, based off of what happened, based off of their age. He didn't.
Adam, don't leave. Adam, don't leave. You know why? Because
hold on.
This is something.
Hold on.
I had to get my charger.
Let me just say, because you just brought up failed at Chelsea, whereas it wasn't he failed. It's just more so on a club like Chelsea, who loans out the majority of their talent. Okay,
he wasn't ready for the big stage.
He wasn't ready for the big stage, but you can't. I'm not saying it's failure's not a negative word. He didn't succeed, so he failed. He failed. He got sent out to Italy. He got sent to Roma. He got cast out of the Premier League, and he found a rebirth. I've read the story on Salah. I've watched the story on Salah. And he got reborn, and he found his way. He wasn't a childhood icon. He wasn't touted the next greatest thing at 15 years old. Is he doing it now with these guys? Absolutely.
That's the only way. That's the
Absolutely.
That's the only way. So, like, you say,
but guess what?
You're saying the same for Hazard. I mean, excuse me.
No. I said then go. I said go somewhere else and do it somewhere else, and Hazard didn't. Hazard's a disappointment. Hazard went to Madrid and failed. So I'm telling Salah, go to Madrid. Go ahead, go save Barcelona. You want respect? Go somewhere else now. Do it somewhere else. Just like I've always said it with Messi. I've said the same thing with Messi. Right, Messi, and that's why he was never the GOAT to me, because he played at one team, and he still scored 700 goals. But that's fine. Salah hasn't scored 700 goals. He scored 100. It's different. It's different. It's different. It's not the same.
I'm just trying to get across that.
It's not the same. He's great.
They are not the same stages of their careers. Okay. And that's something that you have to, I totally understand. And I totally keep in context. However, when you're talking about a player, why can't you just accept and appreciate his brilliance this period?
Who are you talking to? Me? Because I do.
He is brilliant. But he didn't.
I pick him as my Golden Boot winner almost every year.
Okay. He just wasn't ready at that stage in his career for the big time at Chelsea. Hey, De Bruyne wasn't either, and he went on and did great.
He failed at Chelsea. Yeah, he failed.
We thought he was way better than he actually was at that young age, and
I don't think so. I think sometimes
he got moved away, and here we are again. He actually grew up. De Bruyne grew up. Salah grew up. They found their groove at a later stage.
What's the point? So with that statement, the thing that I believe in, truthfully, is that I love Klopp in that one, that so many people use him as a watermark. You know, I love how whenever someone says something about, like how you're going to rebuild a system, how you're going to bring about another club to brilliance, they use Klopp. Okay, there used to be a time when you use either Sir Alex, or you're using maybe
he's the most relevant guy to be doing that right now.
Right, exactly. They use Klopp, and that's something to be said. But also, when you're talking about KDB, or you're just saying about Salah, you know, like these players played under a system and a manager that, rather than say, okay, I can figure out or adjust my system to bring out what Klopp brought out, okay, or what other managers have brought, or what Pep has brought out. Those are big factors. It's not like all of a sudden, you just found your voice and that's it. It's more so that if you have the direction, you have the system, you have an organization or some type of backing that's going to really bring that out. That's the difference maker. That's all. It's the same problems I have with the U.S. men's national team right now. It's the same things that I would say with a lot of the direction that you have with Chelsea when you had Lampard in control. You know, the same that you're going with Arteta. Like, you have to have a player, a coach, or a manager that brings out the best in your players.
Here's the defense,
and it goes to I'm going to land.
Yeah,
and it goes to Man U. Man U is all like shiny new cars, okay, high price cars on their lot. However, they feel as though they have a used car salesman as their coach, despite the fact that he's a club legend, despite that, or, you know, all these different things that correlate to him really being a good fit for this team. It's still, and the fact that they've gotten higher and they progressed better, it's still that they say they can't reach the echelons they want to reach simply because they don't have a coach or a manager. And I get what you guys are saying about the talent and everything else, but you have to put those variables into the equation, because if you don't, then you're really missing out on. You'll miss out on your Jude Bellinghams or your Sanchos and stuff like that.
That's a kid that wants to work hard and knows what it takes to work hard, and he's doing it at Dortmund.
Right.
He did it at Birmingham when he was 17. Some of these guys they need a kick in the butt, and going elsewhere, just mentioning those three that I mentioned at Chelsea, at that stage in their career, they were not ready to play at Chelsea. They thought they were a lot better than they were. Chelsea may have overrated them at the time. At the time in their career, they needed to go elsewhere and get a confidence boost and a kick in the butt, and all of them did. And, you know, it worked out for the best, you know.
I just think Chelsea's system is
reason, and Salah is the player he is now because Roma, you know, he got that confidence. He was able to score goals and say, you know what, I can do this.
I think he always knew he could do that, though.
Saying that didn't help, but
right. I just think that we undervalue sometimes the importance of all the variables that it takes to bring out brilliance.
And I hate to say it, but and you know, and it's going to come up on a lot of people's ends. He will struggle to get the respect always, just because I feel too slightly of just nationality, because people aren't used to an Egyptian footballer.
I'm glad you said that.
Good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's not Portuguese. He's not Brazilian. He's not French. He's not German. He's an Egyptian.
No, you're
that
right.
Good, you know, guys. His
nationality.
Unfortunately, it plays a role in that.
Even his religion plays a role in it.
Yeah,
and those things are sad underlies of the reality of the world we live in. But all the same, I still say that those variables that really make up a true brilliant player, unless you have, is that, hey, you are with the coach, to say Ronaldo and everything that we're talking about. And he went to Real, and then he went to Juventus, and he kind of fluttered, but he still scored. He still put his numbers up. All the same, guess what Ronaldo had early in his career? Possibly the best Premier League coach of all time.
Well,
so let's just bring it down for one quick second.
Be careful what you speak into existence.
No, let's talk about Pep. Pep is one of the great coaches and one of the best coaches in the world. Where did he all of a sudden learn to play KDB, learn to play to become a player? Oh, that's right, with Pep. These factors matter.
He was really good at Wolfsburg. He got the confidence. He needed to go elsewhere and score goals and dominate.
Well,
that's really a long way for some of these guys. And
sometimes would you say his level is the same?
They think they're like God's gift to earth, the Belgians.
Well, no,
reality check.
Sometimes they do need to go to like a lower.
Hey, you got a Belgian right now, though. You got a Belgian leading your line
I'm
right
not
now.
saying he's.
Sometimes they need to go to a lower level league to get that confidence boost.
Jose Mourinho is not the guy that's going to take a young kid under his wing. He's just not that coach.
That's my point. You said my point.
But they do need good coaching.
That's what I'm going to say.
Good coaching.
I'm saying that
coaching has a huge part of it, and those three growing up and having Mourinho at Chelsea at that stage in their career was bad, and they needed to move away.
That's why I love the fact that you love hyping up Pep, because that's the only positive that Arteta will continue to have over like a Frank Lampard and all these guys, or a Gunner or an Ole, is not only
because he high fives Pep or something.
No, he no. You know, some guys actually sit there and paid attention. And some guys actually sit there and learn something and actually utilize the things when you have the ability to learn under a legend and take that a la Bill Belichick and Bill Parcells and guys along those lines, where you take from a great coach and you learn the ways and you implement it in your own way. And I'm going to give him time. Pep wasn't the greatest coach overnight. Pep needed time in multiple places. Pep needed some time to do what he wanted to do and build what he wanted to build. And he's a phenomenal coach, and I always give him respect. So that's why I'm still not going to be out on Arteta, and I'll give Arteta a few opportunities.
Well, that's good. I mean, like you allow for a coach or a manager to come in and get you eighth and continue to possibly get you eighth again, and then get another 10th place, or
we're 6 weeks in.
Right, I know.
We're 6 weeks
very
in.
true. I think we're saying some of the same things though, and I want to make sure that I point this out, is that a coach can bring a real. If we can judge players when they are with their match, it's kind of like seeing a guy get married to a girl, and then you're like, oh, things aren't right, and he gets divorced, and then he gets married again. And all of a sudden, you see a bounce in his step. You see that he's got his groove back, and all those other things. There's sometimes you have to find that marriage, that perfect marriage. And that's what it comes to sometimes bring out the greatness in certain players. And it is over all sports, I believe, truthfully. And I am rating Salah on the fact that Salah has found his match. Now, whether he goes to Real Madrid and he wants to take the gamble and to say, I'm going to go to another coach that's going to possibly put me into a bad system, or, we're talking about, hey, let's go to Real, where they just lost a sheriff. Okay. Guys, and go to that team and become and do and show the brilliance that you have in a system and a plan and everything that works for you. It's silly. Go win your Champions Leagues. Go win your Premier titles. You're in the best league in the world. You don't have to go. This whole notion that you have to go to Real Madrid, La Liga. I don't want to say it's dead, but let's look at their two behemoths are struggling. Atletico Madrid is not the same team. I'm not, to be honest with you. I thought AC Milan should have won that game against them, actually. So these things all have to be put into consideration. And if we're going to talk about the best in the world, Salah has to be put into that conversation and into he has to, period. There's no doubt. You can chip at all the different things that you want to because of certain reasons why. I'm not saying that at all because of the ethnicities and or religion, any of that crap. But I'm talking about like you can chip away with the fact of he failed at Chelsea or he didn't do his greatness at Roma and all those other things. But you have to just admire the fact that this man is coming to the Premier League and set it ablaze, and not for 1 year, not like 2 years, like as in since he's gotten here, he has set it ablaze and become one of the fastest to reach the milestones that he's reached. And I think that's amazing.
And yes, that is a testament to Klopp. He's done it, at Dortmund. He did it at Mainz when he was back in the day.
Yeah.
It's about consistency. Yes, Salah was good at Roma, and then he was untapped potential when he came to Liverpool, and Klopp got that out of him.
Right.
Bobby Blue Eyes was fantastic at Hoffenheim before he came to Liverpool. Klopp tapped that potential out of him too, and consistency.
Right. Mane is a great comparison as well. Mane,
Van Dijk. I mean, all of them. You can go down the whole. You can go down the whole roster.
Right.
There's no debate.
But why would you want to? That's like, why would you want to leave that?
It's like, point.
It's like it's almost like saying it's like Michael Jordan going, you know what? Like I get that I've won with Phil, but now you know what? I need to go to Miami.
I just think sports have changed.
I need to go to LA.
I think sports have changed, and I think soccer's just one of those sports that generally, you don't just. It's very, very rare, especially even a guy as good as Messi, that you stay at one club since you're 14 years old. Like it just, and you might go and you might make your way back, and some guys do it 2 or 3 times with certain clubs, and they leave and come back and leave and come back. But it is still a testament that if you can go to another country, you can go to another league, you can take another club to the promised land. Like Hazard, we all knew once Hazard went to Real. Hazard's a bad example because Hazard got lazy, he got fat. Mo Salah wouldn't do that. That's just not in Mo Salah's nature. Mo Salah could go to Real and rejuvenate Real with the help of somebody else, and maybe
Salah has to do that though. That's my.
I'm not saying he has to.
I just feel as though it's like sometimes you get a little ticked at the thought of that because I mean, look, Steven Gerrard is legendary in my mind simply because that he stayed and did his brilliance with one spot.
It's a different generation. I know it's a different.
No, and I get that's a different generation, but I mean, like realistically, like as in just because it's a generation, I want to say past, but behind us somewhat. Like it doesn't mean that you still can't appreciate it or even want to see it continue or to continue forward. And that's what I'm trying to get across, that I don't want to see Salah go to Real Madrid. I don't. I understand.
I'd rather see him go to like a club in Egypt that could qualify for Champions League and just dominate their league and take them, as opposed to going to another big boy. But just to but to talk about guys that went from Chelsea to Roma and are doing things. Tammy Abraham scored again today in their Europa League game. They're up 3-0. So watch for Tammy Abraham to make a comeback to the Prem in a year or so and dominate. Based off of the same trend, who knows, right?
He's just not Chelsea quality.
I think he was Chelsea quality. I think he wasn't. He didn't cost enough.
Some people just
he's too inexpensive.
Look at Patrick Bamford. He's fantastic away from.
I know he's not fancy enough
for Chelsea.
He's not fancy enough.
He's just not.
That's what I'm trying to.
I'm happy for Patty. He just never get in the Chelsea team.
I hope Tammy comes.
That's rough.
I hope Tammy comes across town
because they can use
when he makes his way back.
He's great
right now. Your boys could use some
scoring. Does not have a spot with that midfield at Chelsea. There's just
I'd rather have Tammy than Timo.
Hey, you know what? So
personally, everything else. But if you can't tell me if you could, money aside, right now, just off the player, if you could get rid of Timo,
a huge flop, and that's Roman's, shiny new toy thing.
Look, that's you talk about the state of sports right now.
People flop, it happens. Look at United; they're like the king of flops. Shinji Kagawa going from Dortmund to United.
Yeah.
Mkhitaryan, Dortmund to United, didn't work out. Now we're seeing it. Donny van de Beek, fantastic at Ajax. bright spot in the Dutch team, first teamer, can't even get on the field.
Yeah.
It happens. Like, you're gonna have flops in any sport, you know.
I don't think he's a bad player. I don't think he might be flopping, and I agree with you. Whereas there are players that come to teams and they just don't mesh. But that's again going back to,
or they're too full in those positions already.
That's again going back.
Goes into it.
Exactly. That's again going back to my earlier point about saying with the coach. Maybe it's some is just home cooking. It's certain things that just all
formation,
goes into
just tactics.
The practice facility, whatever. All these different things are variables that make up.
Memphis Depay, big flop at United.
Yeah. He's the only one doing anything at Barca right now too.
Exactly.
Yeah. Real.
Yeah. He's the reason they're even staying afloat. So, well, let's get. We're going to run over. We already have run over, and we were okay with that. I do have some stuff I got to do, but we should get to our boys. And the men's national team. The selection has been made for October.
Never a dull roster selection with this guy.
No, it's funny because if you take the three of us, right? If you took the three of us, not that we're major influences in the world of U.S. soccer, although maybe we really should be major influences in the world of U.S. soccer. And sometimes it feels like they do listen to us. We keep getting a mix of what we want, but not what we want. If that, it's so close. Like, I expected not to see Pulisic. Pulisic's been nursing this injury. Pulisic will not be available in Panama. Any Premier League kid is not going to be available in the Panama game because the Premier League club then will not be able to see them for 10 days.
That's fine. We need him for the stretch run here. I'm not worried about it.
But
you knew Hopi had to get a call up.
So
Josh Sargent being left off, that's fine with me because that kid has got so many opportunities for this U.S. national team.
DK
needs the opportunity. That's fine. You don't take your opportunities, you're not coming back. Right. Again, you see this Giassi Zardes, Greg's boy, on the roster.
But But the fact that he left out DK, which was something I didn't and he left out who I call P-Funk, and especially since he was the guy that scored the goal. Actually, the big goal in Champions League was him. So I mean, realistically, he's not on form. So for you to say, you know what, you two stay home, and don't get me wrong, I think Brendan was a good choice. I've been pushing for Hop for forever now. Pepe had to come.
And he had Timmy Weah shot
and exactly, and Weah's back in form and everything else, and playing on. He plays on Lille, so he's really needs to be back into the frame.
All areolas, I don't need to see.
Right, the areolas and the Zardes. I'll be honest with you. Look, I love Zardes. He's served this country well, but
guys, I don't get it.
Here's the issue. Do you not here's what happened, right? Remember last window? And he took no midfielders. He took no attacking midfielders.
He took all defenders this time.
And Jordan Zimmerman got hurt early in the window, and then he didn't have the defense he wanted. So he takes 10 defenders and 8 midfielders this time and brings 6 forwards. Yeah. And so what he's going to throw Aronson at the right wing and Hoppy at the left wing and Pepe in the middle, but then you have no depth. You have no wing depth if you're going to do that. I like the addition of bringing Busio in this time. Busio, he gets a chance.
I thought Luca Della Torre earned a call-up because he's been playing great in Italy.
Yeah, and McKinney, bringing McKinney back is a nice thing. That's cool.
That whole situation,
there was more involved in that situation.
It only happened because Pulisic's not coming back probably from injury still. Who knows?
Right, and then he's bringing back a month later.
Can we do 100?
More on that. I need
Weston McKennie is possibly. Can we all be in agreement that Weston McKennie is top 5 player in the United States?
Oh, absolutely.
Can we say he's top 3? Okay, so if he's the top 3 player in the United States, he gets on the podium. Okay, I'm not gonna say where on the podium, but like he gets on the podium. There's no way that you could say, "Hey, we're gonna leave him behind."
No,
right?
Like as you just can't do that.
Situation with him getting sent back, like
yeah.
Did he really need to do that? Like
I think the send back was an overreaction, and I think this is the makeup.
Or an example of him, like if you fuck up and miss curfew or mask whatever, you're gonna miss a game or 2 and then get sent back. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, there was more than just the.
I need more information.
There was more than the COVID, like as in the COVID thing that I mentioned wasn't the major reason why he got sent back. I know that they have come out now and said, the reasons are because he went out of the bubble. He actually brought brought a companion back from, and stayed out and stuff like that.
Don't get into that.
Those things, those things are just a person living his life, YOLO style. But I mean, still, you need to understand that everyone's making the sacrifice, everyone's putting together an effort to make this really big push, considering that we need to get into World Cup. We can't have the debacle that happened last time. So those things are all things that he has to be held accountable for. But let's get on. I've said this to a couple of different U.S. men's national team supporters here, is that there's no way he doesn't come back. You figure a way out. You obviously made an example of him. You send him back to Juventus, and now he's got to deal with the issues, the fact that he's done it not only for Juventus, but now for his men's national team. Now he has on his mind, like, I can't screw up again like that, at least. And you just hope that it sinks in. And I believe that. I think McKennie can do it. I'm hoping he can do it at least.
Yeah, but just seeing Paul Arriola is absurd, though. I mean, we talked about it. He should have never been selected since after the Gold Cup. The Gold Cup was should have been his swan song away from this team, and to bring him back in when there's. And I know we're shorthanded on not having Reina, not having Pulisic. I don't know what. Giacchini, is Giacchini hurt? Because I haven't seen Giacchini now in either window.
That's my
and that guy was a catalyst during Gold Cup. That guy, every time he stepped on the pitch, he changed the game during Gold Cup.
You just said the two players like Reina and Pulisic, who could get on that podium possibly, right?
Yeah.
Like
Reina,
both of those two players, both of those players are out. So they're 2 of our best offensive players. So what do you do to shore up the lifeboat that we're on? Let's bring more defenders on. Yeah. That's why I say this coach is not the man that's going. Look, if he leaves,
he's going to try and win 3-1 games. That's what he's going to try and do.
Bravo, congratulations, and I'll eat my pie of humble pie. But I know that this, in my heart, I do not believe that this coach is the coach that brings us to excellence. I don't believe he's the coach that's going to have a system that is going to allow for these players, once again, to my earlier point, that's going to bring these players to their level, to their predicted level, to their potential levels. Yeah, and I just don't think he's going to do it. So I'm hoping for the best. I'm not saying we're in like up shit's creek or something, but I hope that these players play well, and I hope that they do well, but I just don't believe I do not believe this coach is the one to lead us to a promised land.
And that scares me. That's a concern.
Yeah,
that's a concern. I mean, I like Chris Richards being brought in, and I mean Shaq Moore. You guys, had him on when we discussed, who we thought possibly would make the roster. You guys really thought Shaq Moore deserved a shot.
Yeah, I love every one of those defenders. I just don't think we need 10 of them.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, there's not one guy on the list that I'm actually against at all, including our boy Tim Ream. Not just based off of the great gestures he's made recently that got him some headlines. But the fact that he's actually been playing well to it at Fulham,
he's a stalwart for the team.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm okay with every single one of those guys. I don't think we need 10 of them.
Right.
And then in the midfield, it's like the midfield again. Acosta, I'm a Kellen Acosta guy, so I don't care. Bring him.
Right. And look, I've been asking for Musa to come in, but I really wanted to see those two replacements for Pulisic and Reina to be DK, to be P-Funk. Those were who I would have liked to have seen been added or put onto this additional roster. And even if it meant like not including Zardes and Areola, or if anything, maybe not taking 8 defensive players, 8 midfielders, and 8 forwards, like whatever the way it had to be. I'm also still under the idea that we should play a 4-4-2. There's lots of different things that I think that this team needs to go forward and to become successful with, but it gets down to who is the skipper of this ship, and we just got to kind of like cross our fingers and hope for the best with this team, because like they have the talent. They are a great. This is the best group of American players I have ever seen in my life, and that's high praise, because I mean we have had some really good teams, and this is the best of the best.
Yeah, I mean, again, we'll talk a lot more about it next week. Being the game with Jamaica not being till Thursday. So we'll have plenty of time to really get in depth about, who's going to be starting that Jamaica game and, what our expectations are for this October window. But, I mean, again, it's like on paper, like you said, Lord, it's a fantastic roster. No matter any way you split it. Yes, you probably could have kept off some guys, but, I think you like it. He made some decent selections and some questionable ones. So,
yeah.
Again, and it's sort of concerning the way John Brooks has played as well for me.
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
He's supposed to be, he's the guy that's been in a World Cup match before,
Yeah.
He's supposed to be that leader, and the way he played is not,
No, it's not.
You should wear that captain's armband. So that's the only concern I have going forward. And obviously tactics with Greg. Those are my 2 concerns.
I have a serious feeling we're going to see some 3-4-3 with this selection. I don't disagree with you that having 2 up top with the strikers that we're starting to accumulate and come up with is not a bad idea at all. But just looking at this, I think that's how he's going to play. He's probably going to play 3 center backs. That's why he brought 5. And then he has so many wing backs. He's going to have them on the outside of that midfield, essentially.
Anthony and Neck just pushing up the field.
Yeah, I mean, I just have that feeling, and then the 2 in the middle. I don't know, maybe not, maybe because I don't see what he's doing up at the top either. Because there's no depth if you're going to run 3 up top. There's 0 depth, and there's 0 guys that really should be playing the wing other than Paul Areola. The rest of those guys, and Aronson, I'm sorry, but
Aronson.
The rest of those guys are strikers. To me, Pepe's a striker, Hoppy's a striker, Way is definitely a striker. Zardes is by far, that's all Zardes can do. You can't put he'll put Zardes on the left wing like he tries to do with Sargent, and it won't work. But
that's what happens when you when you don't have the right system for the right players.
But how do you not know that by now? Zardes has played 62 caps for this team, and he's played in almost every one Berhalter could bring. How does he not?
I think that's because he comes forward with a rigid approach, and his rigid. Not that he hasn't tried different formations. I know he has, because I actually read up on the fact that all the different formation that he has tried. But when it comes down to it, he always brings out the same. True and true. Hey, we're gonna go 4-4-3. 4-3-3. And look, I'm still 4-4-2. I'm still saying we should put Hop, and we could put Pepe and Hop. It's a young. That's a little bit too young of a front lineup, but to have them be in there maybe at some point together, so they have that youthfulness and adrenaline and
I would even
energy
start Zardes with one of them.
Yeah, well, that's probably what he'll do is like he'll start. Well, he's going to have 3 up front, I believe, and he's going to. And again, when you put, and I've said this numerous times, is that you put, for instance, Hop on the left wing, he's not a left winger. Okay, like as in you can see if you look at his heat map, even he tends to slide more towards the middle, and yet when your system is asking for him to be out wider, but yet he's tending to go more towards the middle, he's just playing to his natural instincts. He's a striker, okay? But yet we have him pushed out. It's the same thing. It's like I really truly believe that Pulisic, once we do get him back, he could play more of a central position. He is, and he plays well, obviously, for your Chelsea when he plays out wide, but he has played in his best game ever as a Blue was when he played striker. So these things are adjustments to the system that we're not going to see because, unfortunately, Greg doesn't call us up. He should, but he doesn't call us up. And hopefully he's watching your show because I believe that any person that should want to learn or want to know about soccer has to watch your show.
Well, thanks.
That's that.
We agree.
There you go. But yeah.
Again, we'll have a little bit more time next week to really deep dive into what we think about this October window for this U.S. men's national team and expectation going forward with the 2 home games and 1 road game this time around. Where it's
must
crucial.
wins. They're must wins. They're all must wins.
Right. Thank you. But yeah,
I mean, I like that we're going to be playing Jamaica and Texas. It doesn't really hurt us. I like that we're going to be playing in Columbus, which is a great. We always get great support there. Those are really. But our road game we have to win, and it's important that we do.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right. Well, you guys have any red card, yellow cards? I was gonna red card the Inter Milan and the posting of their record $285 million loss, and thanks to having a great guy like Lord Walker who has educated me over on some of the things, I know that number is very fraudulent in the fact that that's based off of what they were hoping to and projecting to make that year, not off of what they've actually. And $285 million isn't gone out of their pocket. No one just reached into their bank account and took $300 million from them. They just didn't make as much as they were hoping to make last year, even though they freaking went on some good runs and won some big games and should have probably made some more money and sold some players that they made good money off of. So that's just that. You know what? I don't feel one bit bad for them. Shame on them with everything that has gone on with them to try and post that and make people feel bad for them in any way because they're not performing right now is a shame to me. And just I throw a red card right at them. So I'm good. You guys?
Yeah, I really didn't have much on the yellow card, red card this week. It's been a crazy week of just me trying to move out of my current place in Philly and move into a new place. So I'm kind of all over the place. So I'll give myself a red card for waiting the last minute to start moving.
That's all right. Yeah. For anybody who missed the beginning of the show, Adam's literally doing his last show from this apartment. It's the last time I'll ever be doing it from this apartment.
This is it.
So he's on his way out. So.
Shout out to Touchdown FC for this sweet hat.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice.
Cool.
Yes. So, all right, Lord, it's on you, and then we're out of here.
On me. Yeah, so I didn't really have a yellow or red card, but I guess if I was going to say yellow or red, I would say my yellow was for my earlier statement about Gunner fans all of a sudden thinking that they're top 4.
Some do.
Some do.
Not me. I'm realistic. I'm trying.
We're all lucky that we're running out of time because, I could easily put in a little shot at the Blues fans for now all of a sudden hopping off of the Lukaku bandwagon all the mad hate and disillusion that they call him a small game Lukaku now, and that's horrible. That's after 2 games or whatever it is that he's gone through. That would possibly be my red card, and and maybe even the last little pop. Since I'm gonna come out swinging the last 3 pops, get all my fellow rivals, but that would be for the Red Devils. Look, be happy you won. I'm an Ollie in person, and Ollie in for life. Okay, and I believe that realistically, if you have to worry about the Ronaldo saving you at the with some magical shot and having De Gea play like it's 2018, hey, have at it. Those are my shots.
Oh yeah,
those are my shots.
Fair enough. Got to take some parting shots for everybody. But yeah, it's we always appreciate you coming on, man. It's always a good time.
Sure.
So I guess we'll be chatting on Tuesday about this Premier League weekend and look a little bit ahead to this U.S. men's national team game. I know we didn't really get into detail because there's so much going on otherwise, but obviously your Reds have a big game this weekend on Sunday against City. So we'll be talking about that as well. Again,
it's a big game. Number 1 it's top of the league versus second place.
Right.
So, top of the league on the line.
Yeah. Yep.
So if you want to jump on with us at some point next week, either Tuesday, Thursday, you're welcome to talk a little bit more U.S. team. And we'll figure that out in the
hopefully have some boasting to do about a good matchup in the past too.
And just in breaking news before we go off, Leicester just lost to Legia Warsaw 1-0 in Europa League competition. So. That's
they're struggling.
Yeah, they're hurting. They're hurting big time. So it's they can score, but obviously not today. And they're not finding ways to win. So all right, that was it.
Good breaking news to finish the Fox struggles.
Oh yeah, yes. Dan would be happy it was Warsaw. All right, see you guys.
We'll have a safe weekend, and we'll see everybody again 1:00 on Tuesday.
Yes.
Go Mighty Reds.